One of the absolute worst feelings in fantasy football is when somebody we drafted, we had high hopes, they're underperforming. They're playing like shit. You don't want to trade them away because you're trading them low, and you don't want to maybe buy them because they might remain ass, right? So in this video, we're going to be talking about 7 trending players that a lot of people are trading away at the moment. We're going to be discussing whether we should be buying them, selling them, what the rest of the season outlook is. So if you guys find any value from this video, give your boy a like, man. Subscribe if you want to catch more of it, if you want it to reach more people as well. Or, don't if you don't want it to reach your league mates so that they don't know what you're up to. They don't know that you're going to be scheming, trying to take these players or trade them to them. And Chase Brown is the first player on this list. Listen, man, I mean, there's no other way to put it. Chase Brown is down bad at the moment. The dude was a second rounder. And why was he a second rounder? He was a volume-based running back on a great offensive situation, right? He'd get 90% of the touches, touchdown upside, high hopes, or we thought that that's what it was going to be. Obviously, Joe Burrow goes down. Now this team is bottom 10, man. In terms of offensive efficiency, it's going to be a bottom 10 offense. Let's just be honest. We saw a glimpse. We saw how Jake Browning looked with this offense. To be fair, it was the Vikings defense, which is really good. They're really creative. And he was just on his ass pretty much the whole time. The offensive line was absolutely horrible. Now, what does this mean for Chase Brown now? He's going to be a volume-based running back 2 or 3, maybe even like outside of the top 30 potentially, in a bad environment, right? A bad offensive line. They're going to not be able to move the ball effectively. They're not going to be in the red zone very often. At least that's what it looks like. We'll see what happens. Now, what does that mean, right? It's a volume-based running back who's inefficient on a bad team. That is like the perfect profile of a player that we usually fade, right? That's usually like a dead zone running back, someone we're not very confident in, that we don't really want to draft. So I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. I don't want to sit here and lie to you guys. We are down bad at the moment. This is a second round pick, dude. This is a guy that we thought could be like a top 5 running back. He is what we thought James Cook would be. Or I'm sorry, James Cook is what we thought Chase Brown would be, right? Like it's a horrible situation, man. At the moment, he is still kind of going in like the top 20 rest of season rankings. So when we look at the rest of season rankings, we do see that Chase Brown is still 18th in the rest of season. This is fantasypros.com. You guys can go check out their rest of season rankings. I love using it when I'm trying to make trades and try to figure out what I want to do with players. And we see, man, that he's going around players like Javonte, Chuba, Alvin Kamara, Jordan Mason. So he's still kind of seen as like a dude who can help us, right? He's still a top 20 running back according to Fantasy Pros. This is what the pros think. Now, I'm a little bit different. I don't actually think he's going to finish in this top 18 or top 20, whatever you want to call it. I already see names on this list that I would rather have ahead of him. Now, if you're playing with league mates where dudes think that J.K. Dobbins is just temporary, he's going to fade, R.J. Harvey's going to come in. If you can flip Chase Brown today for J.K. Dobbins, I make that trade straight up. If it's just a 1-for-1, I make that trade. If you can get Alvin Kamara, I make that trade just by looking at the rest of the season. You guys can't see the header columns here, but it's essentially this column here with the stars. On the left, this is your rest of season strength of schedule. So that's just how easy their schedule is. You see Brees Hall also with 5 stars. So I just don't like the situation, man. I don't want to have a player who's a volume play. He's very inefficient. I think the Bengals are like second to last in the NFL in yards before contact. So their offensive line is just not creating any type of traction. They're not allowing Chase Brown to actually get any type of involvement or production, man. So we're just down horrendous at the moment. I am just a messenger here. Don't hate me. Don't shit on me. Don't dislike the video and say that I don't know ball. This is just the situation, man. And we saw it already in 2 weeks, right? Like that second game when Joe Burrow went out. And in week 3, man, Chase Brown was essentially unusable. And when we look at the expected points for week 3 and then how many points he actually got, we see that he was expected to still get 15 fantasy points and he only gets 6. So there's still some volume here, right? There's still some opportunity, but I think we're going to be seeing this is going to be the tail of the tape the entire season. He's going to be having a lot of opportunity and he's just not going to be capitalizing on it because this team just doesn't allow for it, man. So if I were you guys, try to flip him. Maybe make a package deal where it seems like you're moving down at running back, where you're maybe getting a J.K. Dobbins, and then you're moving up at wide receiver. That's how I typically like to trade these like 2-for-2s. So make sure you guys join the Discord, insert your trades, or let the Discord know about the trades of what types of deals you guys are looking to make with some of these players. And the community is hella dope. People are going to help you. I will help you. I'll give you my input. And let's move along now to the next player. It is Ricky Big Dick Pearsall, dude. One of my favorite players, bro. I absolutely love Ricky Pearsall. If you watch the tape and you watch Ricky Pearsall play, he is absolutely amazing, man. So Ricky Pearsall, man, is somebody that I'm just getting increasingly excited about, man. We see that in his last 5 games, we're talking about 8 for 117, 4 for 56 and a touchdown, 4 for 108, 6 for 69 and a touchdown, 8 for 141 and a touchdown. The dude's a big play, big volume type of guy. He's the perfect type of wide receiver where his value is still so depressed. Like he's not seen as like a top 24 wide receiver at the moment, but we see another chart here that I'll put up. Weeks 1 to 3, 256 air yards. That's number 1 in the NFL in terms of air yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba is right after him, as well as Puka and Malik Neighbors. He's in good company, man. He's getting quite a lot of air yards. He looks great on tape, as you guys can see in these clips behind me. And as I mentioned, man, he's just one of the cheapest dudes in a team where there's injuries all over the place, man. Nick Bosa out. Fucking Juwan Jennings can't get on the field, right? He had like a preseason injury. He gets an ankle injury, I think, in the last game. He's got the shoulder lingering. So Juwan Jennings, man, as well as the contract dispute, it just left the door open. The door's wide open for Ricky Pearsall to kind of take over this wide receiver room. And I think he's already capitalizing it. He's going to continue, man. I think they can both be fine. Don't get me wrong. I think Juwan Jennings comes back and he's equally involved. He's still going to get his. They're maybe going to carousel week by week on who's going to be productive. But we see, man, that Ricky Pearsall, I just think he is going to be the number 1 guy for this offense. I think the volume is going to start to siphon away from Jennings, even when Jennings comes back. And it's going to be Ricky, dude. He's going to be the guy that's getting these super high value, intermediate, horizontal routes. That's a crisp. That's perfect for fantasy football. It's exactly what we want in fantasy. So with one of the easiest schedules in the NFL, Ricky Pearsall is somebody that I personally view as like a top 15 guy. I know that sounds crazy. I put him in there with that Roma Dunze category. And then when we look at the expected fantasy points, he's expected 21. He gets 19.7. A little bit of an opportunity there where he's not fully capitalizing, but we love the expected, man. On like 21 expected fantasy points, I think he's just going to be one of the cheapest, most productive wide receivers with such an easy schedule, man. Go out there and get Ricky Pearsall. Now we got Brian Thomas Jr., man. What do we do with Brian Thomas Jr.? We are down bad at the moment. This is a guy that we thought could be a top 5 player. He had, number 1 wide receiver overall potential. We saw the flashes last year with Mac Jones. So we thought, all right, Trevor Lawrence coming back. Things should be better. We got Liam Cohen in town. He's the wide receiver whisperer. He's the running back whisperer. And things have not panned out. As you guys know, man, expected fantasy points. Last week, he only had 11 expected fantasy points, and he only gets 7 actual points. The previous weeks before that, man, 19 expected fantasy points, 12 expected fantasy points, and he was getting no more than 9 fantasy points. So he is leaving a lot of points on the field. He's dropping passes. He looks scared to run down the middle of the field. Now, listen, man, I don't really know what to do with Brian Thomas at this point. We have 3 now consecutive weeks under 9 fantasy points. The expected don't look great. The actual are even worse. He has yet to break 9 fantasy points. He has a lingering wrist issue, it seems, and maybe it's bothering him more. Listen, man, Shane Waldron, this man might be a fucking witch doctor or some type of gypsy, man. He might be using some black magic, putting a curse on every young wide receiver. It was JSN 2 years ago. It was Odunze last year. Now Brian Thomas Jr. He stinks, man. He just smells. He stinks. He's dropping passes. He looks scared to run down the middle of the field. 3 red zone targets through 3 weeks. That's not great. I mean, if this is a dude who has wide receiver number 1 overall potential, he's not getting end zone targets, right? It's just that you're not going to get there without getting those end zone targets. He had 0 in week 3. And listen, man, 5 receptions on 25 targets. That's a 20%. 20%, right? I'm bad at math. Yeah, 20% catch rate. It's just, you can't blame it all on Lawrence, but Lawrence is to blame as well. But a lot of them, man, are just like bad drops, man. He's dropping the ball a lot. I don't know if you guys can see the footage that I showed you guys, but listen, the positives about Brian Thomas is, as you guys saw in that last clip, he can burn, dude. He can run. The dude has like a 4.3 40 speed. So he has big play potential in his repertoire. And he doesn't really have a lot of competition, right? Travis Hunter doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. I don't know what his role is on this team. He's like a bad cornerback and like a part-time wide receiver. What a bust, man. Like, I'm sorry, dude. I love Travis Hunter as a talent. I thought he could be one of the better wide receivers in the NFL if they just use him like a wide receiver, but it seems like they don't know what the fuck to do with him, right? So if that's his number 1 competition, Brian Thomas, like all other factors, man, like a good run game, a pretty good defense, actually, he should be eating. He should really be eating, man. So I don't really know. I'm honest, man. Like, I'm there with you guys in this. I don't actually have Brian Thomas on any teams, but I'm trying to be empathetic and think about it from your guys' point of view. Do you sell him and then watch him cook on another team? Or do you sell, and you're going to have to be selling him low also on top of that? Or do you buy him and hope it turns around? It's like you're kind of in fucking no man's land at the moment. So I feel the pain, man. Obviously, honestly, if you can get a really good deal, if you can maybe get like a JSN somehow, I mean, at this point, I don't think anybody's going to be selling JSN. He looks to be a league winner. But if you can like somehow finagle that, like move down at running back and then move up by getting JSN in the deal, like a 2 for 2, like I mentioned, I would look to see if I can do that just so that you can get out of this headache. You can get over this player who just seems to be cursed. There seems to be a witch doctor hex on him or something, man. But let's move it along now. Next, we got Cam Skattebo, man, who leads the Giants in week 3 in rushing yards, targets, receptions, receiving touchdowns, aura farming. The dude was just absolutely looking fantastic. And that's against the Chiefs defense, man. One of the better defenses in stopping the run. And he was phenomenal, man. He was absolutely fantastic. This was just one singular play from that game. And it kind of shows you his capabilities, man. He busts off like 2 dudes, makes 2 guys take each other out, and then avoids contact as well. You have a player who just knows how to avoid contact. I don't know, man. Like, I just want to say, man, Cam Skattebo, he is a 3-down back, dude. Truly a productive and talented 3-down back. He's not just a guy. He's not just like a random backup running back. He has the pedigree from college, man. So Tyrone Tracy slated to miss 2 to 4 weeks. It looks like he had that shoulder injury very early in the week, and Skattebo was already kind of taking over this backfield. So this injury it couldn't have come at a better time. But I just want to say, man, unfortunately for Skattebo, the reason I have a little bit of concerns that Cam Skattebo, his next opponents are going to be the Chargers, New Orleans, which is an easy one, but then Philadelphia, Denver, Philadelphia, San Francisco. Like, that's kind of brutal. They have to play Philadelphia twice, and then in between they have to play Denver. So brutal, just a brutal schedule coming up, dude. And here's the thing, though. He had 8 targets in the first game. So he was super productive as a receiver. He was a true 3-down back, man. And when you have a running back like that, a bad schedule, right? Let's just say, for example, Ashton Genty, when they play against tough teams, he's not getting any targets, no receptions. He's not being able to help you in any way, right? If he's getting stonewalled in the run, he's just not going to produce. While Cam Skattebo, if he's going to be getting 8 targets a game, man, the question is this going to last? Is Tyrone Tracy going to come and take some of that receiving work? Is this going to be a brutal committee when Tyrone Tracy returns? Now, here's the thing, man. Because of Tracy coming back, because of the tough schedule, he just came off of like 21 fantasy points. It is looking like wheels up. But if you look at this rest of season Fantasy Pros list, we see Cam Skattebo down at 23. And I like to use this chart to see what trades we can make. Which guys are maybe above them that I see better, or below them that I see could be better, where you can kind of use that to your advantage, right? And I highlighted a couple names here. These are the names that I think you can potentially get. Like, obviously, I could have highlighted Hampton, but I just don't think that's possible, right? But Javonte Williams, Breece Hall, Kyron Williams, these are 3 guys, including Kenneth Walker, 3 guys with question marks, right? With Charbonnet coming back for Kenneth Walker. Kyron Williams seems to be losing his like 90% workload to Blake Corum. And then we got Breece Hall, just 2 bad games. But this is a Jets team that wants to run, and he does have a 5-star easy strength of schedule moving forward. Javonte Williams was like a 12th round pick, right? So people are just down on him in general. And even with his production, I feel like some of the owners of Javonte just expect that to fall off a cliff at some point. So I would still take him rest of the season. Chuba Hubbard as well. Chuba Hubbard has been like the RB10 in fantasy points, but he has like 0 end zone or goal line carries. I think that's going to change because last year he was number 1 in the NFL in goal line carries. This year he's like last. He has 0. And Chuba Hubbard is someone that I just think he's going to start getting goal line reps. Like, it was just a weird game script thing where the first 2 games they couldn't run the ball very well, so they were just throwing it. And he did get the 2 receiving touchdowns. And then the last game they were just winning by so many points. It was like a Rico Dowdle drive when Chuba Hubbard went down at the 1-yard line, I believe. So if you can get Chuba Hubbard for Cam Skattebo, that is a trade that I think you can potentially make from a Chuba Hubbard owner who is a little bit worried, right? They see the kind of fluky production where he had 2 receiving touchdowns. So those are the names I wanted to highlight. J.K. Dobbins is another one where you can kind of flip a coin on that one. I just think he's going to be on a better team with a much more productive offense that wants to run the ball. And I think J.K. Dobbins is going to be a mainstay on this offense. So those are some of the names that I would see if I can get for Skattebo. Otherwise, I'd stay put. Some of the other names you saw on that list, I would stay put. Now let's talk about Kenneth Walker, man. So Kenneth Walker is a weird one. We see that in expected points, only 13, and then he ends up scoring 18. So he does get the 2 goal line touchdowns, but otherwise it was a game that they were just winning by so much. He wasn't really needed in the second half very much. It was like 35-3 at halftime, just an insane game. I did kind of see this coming. I did think that the Saints would just get blown the fuck out by the Seahawks, and it happened, man. And look, his value is still very depressed. In back-to-back weeks, he scores 18 and 17 fantasy points. One of them was with Charbonnet playing more than him, and the other one was completely by himself. So is this his ceiling? I don't think so, But the concern with him is that Charbonnet actually outsnapped him in that week 2. In week 1, Charbonnet also outproduced and outsnapped him. It was looking bad. People were starting to sell him after week 1. And you might be thinking now, at RB13 rest of season, according to Fantasy Pros, that puts him ahead of guys like Kyron, Brees, Chase Brown. Now, the gamble is that should we sell him high when he just scored 17, 18 fantasy points, knowing that Charbonnet is coming back? Can you even sell him high? Do people actually view Kenneth Walker like a buy low candidate, like somebody that they actually want to buy at value or even buy low, right? That's the problem. Or buy high, rather, sell high. So I think we need to stay put. I think he's one of those players which it's very difficult to move up, right? Because he's kind of viewed as like a borderline top 12 guy based on talent. But because of Charbonnet, people kind of view him less than that. But I think that's kind of his ceiling right now. A type of trade that I would try to make is like, can you package Kenneth Walker with like a Keenan Allen, somebody who's really kind of outproducing what we thought they could? And can you move up to like a James Cook? Right? Like a James Cook owner might be like, all right, dude, this party's going to end eventually, right? Like James Cook has been way outproducing his expectations at the moment. Can you get a James Cook? Because I do think rest of the season he's like a top 5 guy, but the James Cook owner might not think that. They might think that this touchdown party is going to end, right? The cops are going to show up, everybody's going to get kicked out of the party, and Cook will stop scoring. So that's what I would do with Kenneth Walker. I hope that helps you guys. And let's move now to Chris Godwin. We have to discuss him because he is coming back potentially this week. The reports are that he's going to start in week 4. That's going to be his debut, so we don't really know. And let's have a look at 2024, man, because 2024 was an absolutely amazing year for Chris Godwin. He was the wide receiver 1, dude, through 6 weeks, I believe. So 18, 21, 14, 9, 9, 30, and then 10 fantasy points. He was looking like one of the better draft picks in fantasy football. Then obviously, he has the absolutely brutal injury. His ankle, twists in ways that I've never seen before. And currently, the Bucs are in a situation where Mike Evans out with a hamstring, Emeka Egbuka kind of playing the Godwin role, but also they're kind of testing him out wide a little. Last game, he had some crazy fucking catches. One of them was actually called out of bounds, which I'm not too sure about that. But I don't know what this team does now. Godwin comes back. Egbuka is kind of beasting and feasting in this Godwin role. So it's a tough one. They kind of lack an X receiver, right? They lack a Mike Evans type. So Godwin comes back. Is he going to take back that big slot role that he had? And then do they move Egbuka outside? I feel like that's kind of a net negative for this team. I feel like that's a move that wouldn't be in their interest if they were to make, which kind of puts Godwin in a difficult situation, man. The risk with Godwin, I'm just going to be straight up with you guys, is that he's like a Josh Downs. He's a 100% full-time slot player, which is a role that does not see a full-time role, right? It's not a role that is always out there on the field, because when the team wants to run the ball, usually you won't use your slot wide receiver. You'll use tight ends instead. So that's kind of the situation with Josh Downs. And I fear that this is a situation that Godwin will find himself in because Egbuka is manning the role that he had, right? If Egbuka was bad, if he was having drops issues, he wasn't getting in the end zone, he was just having like a poor rookie season, then maybe Chris Godwin retakes that role he used to have. But that's my fear, man. In my opinion, obviously, we can't really move him. We can't really trade him at the moment. He was on IR. We haven't seen him play a snap. You have to sit on him, wait and see what happens. I do think that if he pops off in that first game, you should seriously consider trading him, because the reports are that Mike Evans will be on the shelf for potentially 2 weeks, maybe 3, up to 4, depending on the severity of the hamstring. But if you can move along from Chris Godwin and kind of sell high on what he used to be, on the hype of him returning, on this wide receiver room just being down horrendous at the moment, I would try to see if you can sneak him into a package. If he like sweetens the deal, sweetens the pot in a multiplayer package, see if you can do that. And now we got to talk about the number 1 waiver wire pickup. Maybe you already had him, or maybe you're interested in trading him off the hype of James Conner, but it is Trey Benson. When we look at the expected fantasy points from week 3, we see that he does score only 8 fantasy points with 11 expected. All right, not a lot of volume. It's kind of the first game after Conner went down. Things are weird, but he does play 75% of snaps, 78% of the RB touches after the Conner injury. And I will say that Emery DeMercado, the third down back, or he was like the RB3, I guess, before the Conner injury, he actually had a couple snaps here. He had a couple opportunities. There was a third down, I believe in the fourth quarter, where he does a rollout and he gets a pass from Kyler Murray, wide open touchdown. It was just an RB rollout, and he fucking drops it, dude. He drops it, gets immediately benched. Benson comes in. And I think that's going to make Benson a full-time guy. That play alone, I know this team likes DiMercato, but he's just a guy. He's not going to be special. He could take some third downs, but I envision Trey Benson having the James Conner role to himself. And James Conner was essentially a top 20 running back in this offense as a true bell cow, 200 rushes, 30 plus catches every season. And one thing that I want to share with you guys, man, that I was looking into these two players is the athletic metrics of both Conner and Benson. So let's look at Conner first, man. 29th percentile 40-yard dash, 66th percentile speed, 5th percentile burst, 20th percentile agility. How this man was in the NFL this long and this productive is beyond me. I guess it proves you don't need to be fast. You just need to be good. And he was a very good running back. Respect to Conner. But when we look at the profile of a Benson, we see the 97th percentile 40-yard dash. We see the 98th percentile speed. And we saw it on the field. There were some plays this season where Benson got some room, he got some daylight, and he busted them for some big chunk plays, man. So Benson has big play potential. It's just something that I want to remind you guys of. So Benson is somebody that can score long touchdowns. He's somebody that has some explosion that Conner just frankly did not have. Now, if Benson is in the Conner role, but you add an athletic element to this equation, can he be a top 12 guy? Like, I truly want to ask that, man. I want to ask you guys what you think, because if Conner was a top 20 guy, being such a bruiser, right? He was such a between the tackles bruiser. He didn't really have explosion in his repertoire. I don't know, man. I just feel like Benson being a very explosive, dynamic, athletic running back in this system with that type of James Conner workload, you got to be a little bit excited, man. And let's quickly look. Now let's look at the Fantasy Pros rest of season trade chart. We see Trey Benson here, which I highlighted. He's at RB22. So he's already up there in the top 24. Guys around him like Kamara, Mason, Brown, Skattebo, Pollard. I highlighted those other players because those are the guys that I would be willing to trade for Benson. I know that might sound crazy, but when I think about Benson in this offense, which is a very capable offense, they're not a high echelon or a top tier offense, but Cam Skattebo's got, Tyrone Tracy coming back. Tony Pollard, just inefficient with a crazy workload. And he has Tajay Spears coming back. Chase Brown, just volume-based RB2 in a very bad offense that's not going to be in scoring positions. Jordan Mason, fantastic for now, but, he's going to have Aaron Jones coming back. That's going to cap his upside. And then Kamara, just bad offense. He's not really getting a lot of receptions or high-value touches. He doesn't seem to have the same speed and burst he used to have. So I don't know, man. I just see Trey Benson in this sea of players. Like, I didn't highlight Chuba, Javonte, J.K. Dobbins because I don't think I would take Benson over those guys, but I highlighted some of these other guys. Maybe that can help you with trades, figure out how to, finagle a trade where you're moving down, you're doing a multiplayer trade like we mentioned in some of the other players. That does it for the video, guys. 7 trending players that a lot of people are trading, what we should do with them, whether we should trade them, sell them. And I hope you guys liked the video, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving me your time. I really appreciate you. If you're still here and you're still watching, man, a like is the best way to show support. Helps the video reach more people. And then a subscribe if you do want to catch more of this stuff. And if you guys look down below in the comments, and it'll also be in the description, will be a link to the Discord, dude. It's a dope community. It's growing. It's tight-knit. We're talking ball every day. I really recommend you guys join that. And you can submit your trades, dude. Not only will I give you some advice and look at your team, look at your personal situation, but a lot of people in the Discord are also giving really good advice, man. It's a really sharp community, if I will say so. So make sure you guys join that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.